Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. What a cold, cold morning it is. What a cold night it was last night. I hope you guys are staying warm. +6 in Omaha, Dan. It's I don't know what temperature it is right now, but I have no water. The water has completely frozen over here, and yeah, I sincerely hope that it will be back. Probably, hopefully later on today. We'll see. But till then, I've done everything necessary. I've got heated water hose going into the camper. I'm going to run outside and check on that and make sure that it's actually working. And yeah, it's cold. Boy, is it cold. There's frost all over everything. The birds are going nuts. It's definitely cold today. Anyways, man, I have a whole bunch of people here. So good morning, good morning. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Susan. It is good to see you guys. It is good to see you guys over here today. Thanks so much for coming on by to the wake up call. I've had a couple of really wonderful wake up calls thus far this week, and we're going to have another one today. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the deck. Good morning, Amanda. And I'm gonna ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. We're gonna respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. Let's let that name that name of ourselves ring out into the universe. That I am name. That's that name that all of us answer to, and we don't answer to it when other people call it, but we answer to it when we call it to ourselves. I am is the way that we call ourselves, the name that we call ourselves. So let's call ourselves good names. Let's call ourselves wonderful and empowering names today. All right. And so, yeah, we're going to affirm that we are something amazing and then write it down in the comments and talk about it for a little bit. So let's get right to it by saying that today, yeah, Amanda, I am cold. I am feeling cold myself. I'm feeling cold myself. I'm wearing two robes. I'm wearing a scarf. I'm wearing an underlayer, and I am still feeling the cold just creeping in. Yeah. So let's affirm something different about ourselves, though. Let's just say that today I am hopeful. I am hopeful. I trust in the best possible outcome. So I am hopeful. I trust in the best possible outcome. Are you hopeful? You are hopeful. You trust in the best possible outcome. And I am writing that down in the comments right now that I am hopeful, that I trust in the best possible outcome. And I trust in the best possible outcome right now. I trust that the water will come on back into my house and that I won't have to deal with any issues related to pipes bursting. That pipes freezing is enough for me to deal with today. That's not being able to have an indoor bathroom or anything like that is enough for me to deal with today. And that I also don't have to deal with unexpected repairs. But I am hopeful. I trust in the best possible outcome. And so yeah. So what is it that you're hopeful for today? I'd love to know in the comments. Let me know what you're hopeful for. Dan says he's hopeful to get done with Omaha in the next few months. Man, I'm hopeful for that for you as well, Dan. I hope that you can come on back over to where all of your friends are and just be able to, well, first of all, be warmer, but also just be able to get back to your own life, get back to dealing with the things that are going on in your world, as opposed to the leavings of somebody else's world. So yeah. Janet says we're all guessing till the outcome appears, and then it feels best to guess things, and it feels best to guess that things will work out fine. And hey, everything has worked out fine up until this point, even when we weren't sure how it would work out. I'm hopeful as well. I trust in the best possible outcome. I have a lot of things going on in life right now, and people that I love and care about have a lot of things going on in life right now. And so, good morning, Silk. And so I trust in the best possible outcome for all of us. I remember that I was probably in my mid-20s, and I was consumed by worry and fear and doubt and insecurity. And I remember that I'm not sure even where I heard this, but I think it was actually on the radio. I think it was on some Christian radio station, and And the guy on the radio was talking about, what is faith and what is hope. And the guy said, he said that faith and fear both ask us to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. And I remember that those words sunk in deep into my soul, because at the time I was dealing with all kinds of insecurities about myself. I was, I was basically sick of my life. I was done with living my life the way that I had been, and I really didn't like myself. And to the point where about maybe 2 years later, I decided that I was going to completely give everything up and go live in Central America. And one of the catalysts for that was just that I had just come to the conclusion that I had inherited a life rather than built one. That I had that I had inherited everybody else's ideas of who I should be rather than just building one myself. And so when I left because I was running away because I didn't like me and I wanted a complete and total, utter change in myself. And I thought that if I could just change my surroundings completely, that I would be able to love myself. And of course, I learned that that wasn't true, because wherever we go, there we are. And yet, I was hopeful at the time that just living in Central America for a while and selling everything that I owned, living out of a backpack, was going to be was going to be the catalyst necessary. And I tell you the truth, that it did change a lot of things and that it did help me along my journey, but there was nothing instantaneous about it. That it took years for me to learn how to love myself. Nevertheless, I was hopeful. Nevertheless, I trusted in the best possible outcome. And I assure you that the best possible outcome came with it. It brought with it a whole bunch of pain, a whole bunch of suffering, a whole bunch of me having to look at and honestly assess who I was being, and recognize that I was the person holding me back. And so when I considered and reconsidered what what that guy had said, and I still don't even remember where I picked this up, but what that person had said, that faith and fear both ask us to believe in something that hasn't happened yet, I adopted this stance of hope, this stance of saying, okay, well, if it hasn't happened yet, if my fears have not come to pass, and neither have my wildest dreams come to pass, why don't I just trust in my wildest dreams? Why don't I just trust that everything is working together for my good? Why don't I just trust and get through today? Because the problems of today are enough for today. And why am I inviting the problems of tomorrow into today? Over the course of time, and after I learned how to love myself, and after I learned how to really be there for myself, and after I began to recognize my own role in forming and shaping my own life and accept my responsibility for being the person that I saw inside of my head when I closed my eyes. After I did that, I realized that I could believe whatever I wanted about the future, so why not believe in the absolute best possible outcome? And so I did. I started to believe in the best possible outcome. And that best possible outcome didn't always show up the way that I thought it would. But as I look back, I realized that even the things that were painful at the time that I was going through them, those things were beneficial for me. And so every time that I have reconsidered whether I should be hopeful or not, I come back to it. I say, okay, yeah, that has served me well. I am hopeful, and I trust in the best possible outcome. And the outcomes that I've actually received have always exceeded my wildest expectations. I am living a life that is so far beyond the best that I ever would have given myself, that sometimes I just stop and consider how shocked I am. I never, ever would have anticipated that I have so many people who love and care about me, that I get to reach and touch so many lives. I never would have anticipated that I get to live with a sense of peace and well-being every day. I never would have given this life to myself because I never would have thought that it's possible. And so the best possible outcome is one that is even better than what I think has to happen in order for me to be happy. Faith and fear both ask us to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. I say it with complete confidence now. And so whenever I find myself catastrophizing, because I'll do that sometimes, something will happen and I'll be like, oh, well, since this happened, here's the next thing that must happen. And then here's the outcome of that. And here's the outcome of that. When I find myself doing that, I am more and more quick to stop that train of thought right where it stands and say, well, if I'm willing to believe in the worst possible outcome, what's stopping me from believing in the best possible outcome? And what is the best possible outcome that I could envision here? Because I tell you the truth, the best things in my life have happened not as a result of my efforting, but as a result of my deciding. The best things in my life, the best things that I have ever experienced have come not from all of the labor and the work that I've done, although the labor and the work that I've done is important. But always life has conspired in this way, unexpectedly, to bring things more beautiful in my life than I had ever anticipated or ever hoped for or ever been willing to even dare to dream of for myself. And if life serves me up things that are better than I expect over and over and over again, why is it that I doubt? Why do I fear? Why do I waste my mortality miscreating situations in my head that are not as I want life to be? I used to be lost in that. In my late teens, my early 20s, I was lost in creating situations where everything was going wrong inside of my head. And you know what? I got to experience some of those. And so when I wake up in the morning, one of the first things I do is I say, thanks, I'm alive. I have another opportunity to influence this world around me. I have another opportunity to pour love into the people who are around me. I have another opportunity to trust that the greatest and best and coolest, unexpected, awesome things are going to happen to me today. And you know what? Because I'm looking for them, they come. They show up and they arrive. I chose a sunrise, and not just a sunrise, but a bursting sunrise for the imagery on this card. Many of you know this about me already, but I got paid to watch over 1,000 sunrises. I used to go up to the top of Haleakala volcano every single morning, at least 5 times a week, and go and watch the sunrise. And not just watch it, but I had the honor of facilitating that for other people. I had the honor of helping other people to get up there, to provide them with an experience that they otherwise would not have. And as I took them up there, I would tell them a story about the sun. And I would remind them that the sun is rising on a new day in our lives, and that we have the ability to be who we want to be. We have the ability to make different decisions. We have the ability to completely and utterly change the way that we interface with life. And so I am hopeful that today, even though I woke up to problems, that there is a best possible outcome waiting for me. I am hopeful that today, even though life isn't exactly the way that I want it to be right now, that it is getting better and better and better. Every day in every way, everything is getting better all the time. And sometimes that getting better looks like a setback. But when I look back at all of the setbacks that have beset me in life, I recognize that they were stepping stones to a better tomorrow. They were stepping stones to my better tomorrow. And so I am hopeful today. I trust in the best possible outcome. I trust in the best possible outcome for me. And sometimes my friends need some of that faith. And I trust in the best possible outcome for them. And I envision and I imagine the best possible outcome for them. Because this is life. And none of us gets out of this alive. So while we're here, while we still are on this side of the ground, while our eyes still open up, while our mouths still have the power to speak, let's speak life, and let's look for the best and most beautiful things that life has to offer us today. We are here for a reason. And if there was no reason for us to be here, then we wouldn't be anymore. We would be elsewhere. We are here for a reason, and I believe that reason is to spread love. I believe that reason is to bring joy. I believe that reason for us to be here is the very joy of life experiencing itself. And so let's make it an amazing day. The sun is rising on a new day in our lives, and we have this incredible power and authority to manifest our will. So let's do that. Let's not be beholden to who we used to be. And let's not create situations in our head that are anything except the absolute greatest and best for us and for everybody around us. Because we are hopeful people, and this card is our daily reminder that the best possible outcome that we could possibly imagine, that our actual future doesn't hold a candle to that reality. We are hopeful people. And so let us trust today, right now, in the best possible outcome for ourselves, for the people that we love, even for the people we don't love. Let's trust in the best possible outcome, because as we trust in that best possible outcome, we get to live in that world. We get to live in that place. My friends, my life has turned out way better than I ever would have expected it to. And yours has too. And when we recognize that we are the recipients of boundless grace, it gives us faith that we can trust that the things that haven't happened to us yet are good for us, that they are edifying to our lives, that they are helping us to become the people that we were born to be. So thank you guys so much for being here. I see the comments have just been lighting off. Let's see what you guys have to say about this. Yeah. Thank you, Susan, for the offer of some extra water. I appreciate that. I'm going to take a look at the weather today. Hopefully it'll get above freezing and this water will unfreeze and I will have a internal toilet again. That would be a nice thing to have. Let's see. I am very hopeful that it will. I'm very hopeful that the water will just start flowing again in my house, and that I will be able to just move along as normal. I prepared as much as I could, and it still froze anyway, but you know what? That's okay. I'm not going to miscreate a reality where I have to do anything more than wait for the sun to come up. Let's see. Amanda says that she's hopeful for more normal birthdays, like she shared with her son yesterday. I think that's wonderful, Amanda, and I'm hopeful for more normal birthdays as well, for you and for your son. Let's see. Shauna says, I'm hopeful for all of us as well, spending quiet moments imagining white wings around each soul. How beautiful that is, Shauna. How beautiful that is. Thank you for that sentiment. And I imagine that too. So Janet says, yes, I've obviously made it to this moment, so logically everything before this moment has somehow worked out, and therefore logically this moment and those to come after this moment will also be some kind of fine. Yep, I love it. That is exactly how it is. We get so caught up, so lost in the idea that in the idea that something isn't going to go right, that we completely discount the fact that everything in our life has been fine up until this point. Ooh, that's good, Shauna. Anticipation is creation. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. I'm going to steal that. Yoink. Taking that right off the comments. Anticipation is creation. That is a good saying. Yep. So let's anticipate good things for ourselves and not bad things. I found that whenever it is that I go into a situation with an expectation, that it meets and exceeds my expectation. So I have to be very careful not to expect things that are bad, but rather to expect things that are good. Yeah. Let's see. Sylvia says that I am hopeful is one of her daily mantras. I know that you have plenty of daily mantras, Silk, and that you are very much on the same path that I am of not just encouraging and loving on yourself, but also encouraging and loving on others. And so I really appreciate knowing that this is a daily mantra of yours too. It's such a powerful one. Janet is currently living the life she's never could have imagined, much less predicted. I stay in eager anticipation of watching how things will go. I'm satisfied and more with my authentic childlike curiosity and never-ending surprises and delights in that the universe continues to provide for me. Yeah. Good morning, Frank. It's good to see you here today. Yeah. And Amanda says, because you see the beauty in moments, that's so beautiful. I am learning. See, every time somebody uses an I am statement, I just want to point it out. So Amanda, you just use the word you use the words I am and put something positive at the end of it. I am learning. That's a great I am statement. That's a great affirmation. All of us are learning. All of us are experiencing. All of us are becoming better people day by day through the wisdom and experience that is gained from living each day and from experiencing each now moment. Let's see. Good morning, Kelly. It's wonderful to see that you are here today. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, here's another one from Lauren. I like this saying too. To every setback, there's always a great comeback. I am hopeful. Oh yeah, absolutely. And when we think about the setbacks, the pauses that we have in life, the times when we think that we are going backwards, that it's so plain that when we when we look at them objectively through the lens of time, it's always very clear why they happened. And typically it's because we weren't ready for something just yet, and that we were being prepared for it. And whatever it was that we perceived as a setback at the time has caused us to grow in ways that allow us to be more better prepared for what it is that's coming up in life. If 18-year-old me knew how 41-year-old me lived, 18-year-old me would be intimidated by 41-year-old me. 18-year-old me would not know how to perceive 41-year-old me. 18-year-old me probably would have hated 41-year-old me. Probably would have been secretly very jealous of 41-year-old me and not known how to process that. We grow into the people that we are here to become. Let's see. Kelly says that 2 years ago, Michael said snow for the first time again. I'm still hoping for more fantastic days. That is beautiful, Kelly. For those who don't know, Michael had a traumatic brain injury and lost all of his memories, and got the unique gift of getting to be a child again, even even as a mature adult. And unlike a child that learns things more slowly and at the pace of a child, the stuff that Michael learned came back very, very quickly. And I got to be a part of watching his recovery, and it was so interesting to just watch somebody just kind of living with so little judgment of the world around him. And so, just forgetting what snow was or not knowing what it was, and then getting to discover it again for the first time. What a beautiful thing. Yeah. So Jan says, when I use past experiences to predict future outcomes, I restrict the potential of that outcome to those past experience outcomes and limit the possibility for new outcomes. Yeah, just because something happened in the past doesn't mean that it will happen again in the future. Because the person that we are being right now in the present is a different person than the one that we were in the past. And so consequently, the outcomes that we have as open as potentials for us are different, newer, better outcomes. So, yeah, we are hopeful people. Let's trust in the best possible outcomes. And thank you guys so much for being here. It just brings me such joy to see when you folks come by to the wake up call. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for those of you who shared this broadcast and expand the reach of this message. You're amazing, and it always brings me encouragement when I know that the words that I'm saying are considered worthy by others to be amplified. So I really do appreciate that. You guys are awesome. I will return tomorrow at 9 a.m. with another wake up call and another empowering card that we can go through together. More affirmations that we can go through together. So I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, I just want to remind you that I love you, appreciate you, and care about you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. And we'll be back to affirm some more good things about ourselves. Until then, think about what you're hopeful for, and think about what it is that what's going on in your life, and what one of the absolute best possible outcomes could be. And then, just as the sun rises every day, be on the lookout for that best possible outcome. Because even though the night can be cold, the sun will rise. The sun will rise again. The ebb and flow of nature will continue, and we will get to be the recipients of an outcome that is better than we ever could have expected. I love you and care about you and think you're amazing and believe everything that I say about you, just as I recognize that it is true about myself. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, aloha from paradise.